what's going on YouTube? bgram44 back here again today with another banger. Today I want to cover a topic for, this is going to be a PC, more or less a PC video rather than PC and consoles. There are going to be helpful tips on here for console players. If you want to skip through like the first half of this video, if you are a console player and do that, absolutely go for it. But for my PC players, listen, today we're talking about graphics. More specifically, graphics you need to run to not only boost your FPS, but also boost visibility so you can see more. With these more desert style Warzone maps, or these like brighter, lighter colored Warzone maps, it's pretty tricky to see people. I feel like they've made it really hard in the past couple CODs to like really distinguish targets, and graphic settings make a huge difference. So here's what we got, gang. So look, we rock full screen borderless. This is my monitor. I have two ViewSonic Elite, the XG270s. I love them both. One's a 1440p monitor and one's a 1080 monitor. The one here in front of me is going to be my 1440. This one over here to my left is going to be my 1080. I play on the 1440. Even though my 1080 is a 240 hertz, my 1440 I believe is a 165. 1440 is one of the biggest advantages we've had as PC gamers for high FPS COD in a very long time, especially for Warzone. I was super skeptical at first for like this whole 1440 thing. Like I just didn't understand that jumping from 1080 to 1440 would genuinely make that much of a difference, but like it's actually crazy the difference you get in visibility quality going from 1080 to 1440. Now, with that being said, if you are on the fence about making that jump to 1440, you will take an FPS hit. You will have a loss of FPS, probably anywhere from 10 to, if you have a lower end PC, it could be 10 to 30 frames. But if you have a diesel rig, if you have a great PC, I have a great PC, I really don't see a huge performance hit, but there will be a hit nonetheless. It's worth the loss of frames to have that much clarity for the sights on your guns, being able to see targets, recoil control. It really makes that big of a difference, and until you experience it in person, I can't explain it. Like, I really can't. So I highly recommend 1440p if you can. If you do not have 1440p monitor and you're trying to take Call of Duty more serious, maybe you're like trying to compete, whatever it may be, invest in a 1440p monitor. That is the first thing you need to do, undoubtedly. Both of my monitors are 27 inches. I hate that. Like, I'm going to keep it super real. I like a 24-inch monitor. But the reality of that is it's hard to find a 24-inch 1440p monitor that breaks like 120 frames. I need that joint. Preferably I'd like to do 240. It's just not happening. Like, it's so hard to find that. So I am playing on a 27, but I also sit really close to my monitor. Like, I can reach my hand out, and which you can't see this, it doesn't make sense. I can touch my webcam, and my webcam sits on top of my computer. I mean, I can put my whole arm past the webcam. Just from where I'm sitting, I sit relatively close to my monitor. So having that 27-inch, I'm having to drag my eyes further across the screen. It's neither here nor there, but it is preferred if you are playing on a larger monitor to sit back to where you cannot touch your monitor with arm's reach. Like, that's the goal, is you don't want to be able to touch monitor with arm's reach unless you're playing on like, unless it won't. I say that, you look at like Joe, that boy sits this far from his monitor, and it's, I don't understand how he does it. If you're used to that, you're used to that, but if you're like getting into it, you're like, how can it be more competitive? You need to be at like a proper distance, hand length. As for my aspect ratio, I just have that set to automatic. I don't do any of the special like whatever, nothing like that. Restart shaders preloading. If you're noticing a performance drop in frames with your game and you're like, what's going on? Always restart your shaders preloading. You can go through here and absolutely refresh the shaders or re-download all of your shaders. That can absolutely fix little like bugs here and there with your game. Gamma display set at 2.2 for me. Brightness, I've always played 50. It's perfect on this monitor. It's not too light or too dark. Maybe brighten it up on like Rebirth Island. I like it to be a little bit brighter. So, I mean, that's coming soon. So we're going to need that. NVIDIA low reflex, low latency. I talk about this a lot for performance issues. On plus boost is for rigs that aren't that diesel. Like if you do not have at least a 3080, a 3080 Ti in your rig, do not run on plus boost, or run on plus boost. Like you have to have under 3080. That's going to be my bottom mark, 100%. Like the, what is it, the 6800 XT, that would be AMD's card, I would run on. But anything under the 6800, on plus boost. If you run on plus boost with a more diesel card, it's going to run the card so hard it's not going to perform. A lot of these cards already have overclocks built into them, so they're already pumping out as much as they can. You put that boost on those cards and all they're doing is getting too hot. In return, you're getting a colder, or not colder, god, I'm all over the place. You get a lower FPS. That's all I'm saying. So diesel computers on, not so diesel computers on plus boost. Trust me on that. I've tried that a billion times. 100%. Sustainability, I have it on efficiency. This is set to reduce energy consumption, stuff like that. And then you have low consumption. I'm gonna have it set to efficiency. You can go to custom. It says custom manual control, blah 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 blah. I just like having efficiency on. Frame limit, I have it on custom, but realistically you could do it on unlimited. I just have mine set to 250. VSync in the menus, yes. VSync in gameplays, off. If you have a nice monitor, you're not going to experience screen tearing. I recommend keeping VSync off when you are in game, but in the menu, keep it on. It's no need in trying to break the game. I mean, I could turn that off now and probably get a boost, but it's just not worth it. I'll leave it on. Menu render, optimal, nothing crazy there. Pause game rendering is going to be off in a focus mode. It says display black overlay around the game window when the game is in focus, especially useful in a multi-monitor setup. Not that deep. I mean, I leave that. I don't have any issues playing on a multi-monitor setup with that setting off. Here's going to be my graphic setting. So obviously render resolution is going to be that 1440p. I have that set to 100. Dynamic resolution. It says dynamic adjustment of render resolution to maintain the target frame rate. Note the adjustment is only done when the GPU is overloaded and the minimum resolution reaches 50%. So if you have like your thing set to 200 and you're only getting 100 frames, this is where you're really going to want to turn dynamic resolution on and maybe try to hit a target frame rate. So I could push this up like right here. Let's just say I wanted my target frame rate to be 150. I could turn a dynamic resolution on. I'm not really like needing that right now, so I keep that off. Upscaling and sharpening, fidelity X cast, that's the only like graphic wise setting I have on. The DLSS is not for me, bro, like at all. I feel like every time I run DLSS, it's just not it. Like it's not it. I feel like I get no performance boost. I don't know what that is. Ray tracing, no shot, bro. If you want to kill your frames, turn on ray tracing. VRAM scale target, I have that set to 80. Texture resolution is normal. These settings, I'm just going to pause every so often and have you can copy them if you need to, take pictures on your phone, whatever it may be. On-demand texture stream is going to be off for me. Bullet impacts, I keep this on only for the videos I explain recoil patterns for guns in the firing range. When I am actually playing the game, though, I turn this off. There's no need in having like just that one more little thing to impact your game. It really, I don't even know if it affects it, but I don't take chances when I'm playing. I keep that off. When I'm making videos for you guys, it is on. Shadow quality, I keep that on low. All these are set to off. Again, I'm not in it for like the quality. I want to be able to see my targets with a 1440p and get as many frames as I can with my other settings. Environment, tessellation is going to be off, volumetric quality low, deferred physics quality off, weather grid off, and water quality off. There's no shot I'm about to make water crack. Keep that there. View, this one's huge. FOV is 120. You're going to want to play affected. What this does is when you aim down sight, your sight will actually appear smaller. You can see that if you look at the mouse up here. So this is independent right here, and this is affected. And you'll notice that on the affected FOV, it actually looks smaller. You can see more of the wrist going on here. And the sight itself looks just a touch smaller. It's going to be more zoomed out than what you're used to. compared to independent. So you want this for less recoil, and the other setting I pair that with is wide. So obviously you have default here, but then you have wide. I can move, let me move my webcam real quick, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by this. So let's see. Got these two, we're gonna move this down. So if I go over here and I go to weapon field of view, this is going to be standard right here on the left. This is what normal looks like. This is wide, and you can see so much more of your picture on both sides around. Like this right here covers up more or less the bottom half. You can see that. You can see so much more than if you couldn't. Putting your thing to wide, it says right here, the weapon looks smaller. The smaller your gun is, the more you're going to be able to see on screen. If there's someone hiding that you wouldn't be able to see, let's just say like he could be in this area right over here. This barrel's going to come out of the way. You'll be able to see just a touch more. I know it sounds silly, but we're trying to give ourselves any sort of advantage we can. Third person POV is going to be set to 90. Vehicle point of view is wide. Motion blur and weapon blur are off. There was a big fat stinking lie in the last COD, or it's in 2019, in Warzone 2019, that if you turn a weapon motion blur on, you had better FPS, and the reality of it is the smoothness of the gun moving made you think you did, but the problem with that, you couldn't focus your iron sights when you were turning on somebody. Definitely keep that off. One thing that did help in Modern Warfare 2019 for performance, but does not in this game, is film grain. We used to set film grain to 0.01. It is set on complete 0 right now. We do not want that at all. First person camera movement, set that to least on all of your camera movements. You do not want that camera moving as you're moving. And the final setting I have for you guys today is going to be the inverted flashbang. I love this. So on the left, this is a normal flashbang right here. Obviously it's going to blind you. It turns everything white. Inverted makes everything dark. Not only does this save your eyes if you're playing in a dark space, in a dark room, when you get flashed, it's the worst. But you recover your sight better when it's dark rather than when it's light. Everything's so oversaturated. When it's undersaturated, little figures will stand out more like shadows. It definitely helps to have inverted flashbang on rather than just standard. Gang, if any of these settings improved your gameplay, helped you out, let me know in the comments down below. If you have anything to add to this that I may have covered that you wanted to throw in the comments, I will pin it. Let me know. Hit the sub, crush the like, and I will catch you all tomorrow for another heater. Get it, gang.